Hello everyone, welcome to Cover 2 TV. I'm Ste Horde, this is Tom Jennings. As you can see, there's no Chris Page yesterday. He's off in London town doing London town things. So there's just the two of us here to review week 12 and what a week 12 it was. It was very busy because bye-weeks general are gone. They're a thing of the past, so we get to watch plenty of good football and plenty of absolute garbage football as well, and we'll touch upon both later. So as per usual, 4 games before we spin around the league. We're going to focus on Saints, Rams, Packers, Steelers, Broncos, Raiders and Dolphins, Patriots, and then obviously we'll touch on all the rest of the games as well. Let's start then, Jenno, with probably what we all anticipated was going to be game of the week. It was New Orleans 20, Los Angeles Rams 26. We expected probably a bit more offensive football than we got, but in truth it turned out to be a bit of a defensive struggle.
Yeah, I mean, I was speaking in the build-up about how I felt that the Saints offense would be able to lean on the Rams defense until it broke, and what we got was the complete opposite. It was the Rams defensive line that took over that game. I mean, when Aaron Donald was excellent in this game, Ogletree was excellent, Quint, they just got pressure on Breeze all day. They killed the running game. I mean, Ingram barely did that, and he was getting about 3 yards to carry. Kamara just broke off that one big run for 74 yards. And then outside of that, they've largely contained the running game, and Drew Brees didn't have a good game. And
yeah, I was surprised actually, because we mentioned that going into the game, the weakness of the Rams was their run defense, and the Saints have been running over everyone, but they did, like you say, Ingram 11 for 31, Kamara was 5 for 78, but 74 of those came on one play, so that, as you can see, the average wasn't brilliant. He was more effective actually, and it was in the passing game. That's where he looked like that's where it came to light. But they got him involved 6 times. I was surprised he didn't go to that more, because every time they hit him in the passing game, it tended to work. I was surprised that they kept trying to run the ball rather than try and get a bit more dink and dunk. Which, to be fair, the Saints throughout the Sean Payton years have done that quite often. With the likes of Darren Sproles, they have been able to dump her off. I was surprised they didn't try that more, because that was clearly working.
yeah, we say a lot of stuff on this show, and most of it turns out to be garbage after a week later. The one thing that stood by was when I watched them play the Patriots, and I was like, this Kamara is incredible. Why is he not your lead back? And every time I've watched him, he just makes great plays. You just see him leaping over people, making people miss. He's tough to bring down, even though he's more of a scat back. I mean, he just looks like their best running back, and I felt maybe they should have tried to give him just more straight rushes as well, like just get him heavily involved. It wasn't Ingram's day. The defense line, I thought, we'll just go and push Ingram to push Kamara on the outside runs and see where that gets you, because running up the middle's not working.
Yeah, I was going to say, Aaron Donald took over the game in the middle, didn't he? He was in the backfield all day. He was pressuring Breeze. He was stuffing the run. If we flip over to the other side then, and the Rams offense, Jared Goff throws for 350 odd yards. There was a couple of big pass interference plays as well, which could have made that more. And with no Robert Woods, he was out injured. It was Cooper Kupp's day, 8 for 116. After a bad week last 2 weeks ago now, it was nice for them to get him back involved, and he didn't show any ill effects of a couple of bad plays the week before. He looked like which is good for a rookie, not to dwell on it. He looked like he had a really good game.
Yeah, I think what happened with Cup is what should happen. You're a young receiver. There's going to be times where you have bad games. You just need to have that kind of, just forget about it. That game's over. This is the next game. Do well, and that's what he's done. He played really well. I think Watkins played well as well in the Woods role. Yeah. They moved him over to the other side, and obviously he caught a touchdown. You're looking at Buffalo now going, why did you get rid of Watkins? And you know what I mean? There's a reason why Watkins was a highly touted wide receiver. So I think their wide receiving core, the Rams looked really good in this game and put themselves back as looking like a real contender again.
Yeah, I was going to say, they did move Watkins, and he looked good in that Woods role. And they found this lad, Josh Reynolds, who I don't know who, I never heard of him, I'll be honest. And he pops up 4 catches and a touchdown as well. It was like the Saints defence, without Lattimore, looked like the Saints defence of old, in that there was lots of people open, there seemed to be lots of communication. Kenny Vaccaro couldn't cover anyone. There was, Von Bell looked the worst player without Marshawn Lattimore. It just shows that, and again, you mentioned before, we don't get a lot right. We did say a few weeks ago, if you take Lattimore out of this defence, it probably will look like the old Saints defence, and that's what we've just seen. If anything, it probably heightens his MVP, Defensive Player of the Year candidacy, in that you take him out and they just reverted to the back where Jared Goff just passed for fun, everyone was open.
Yeah, it was just, again, we spoke while in the build-up, Kenny Vaccaro covering people is not a good idea. And there was that play where he literally just quit on it halfway through.
Yeah, he just stopped running.
You couldn't understand what he was doing, and he's terrible in coverage. don't let him cover people. Just don't do it. Just find a way to not let Kenny Vaccaro cover because he's awful at it. And I think that's what we found. And that shows that when you have someone who's just willing to take off, like, create his own little island, it just opens up so much more things for your defence. And when that's gone and you're forcing everyone to try and do things that are outside their skill set, you get picked apart. And now, a year ago, we wouldn't have thought Goff would be able to pick a defence apart, but it's this Goff that we're seeing under Sean McVay. He's able to do that. He's picking up apart. I mean, Romo was showing about how his foot, where he keeps his foot ready to throw all the time. He never panics, and that's how he's allowed to pick them apart even when he's seeing pressure.
I just thought it was amazing that you take away one player, and we see this sometimes with Dallas when Sean Lee doesn't play, they're a whole different defence, and the knock on Marshawn Lattimore was never his skill, it was his injury record. Coming out of college, it was his hamstring actually. Now this wasn't a hamstring injury, was it? It was a different injury, but this is the reason he fell slightly in the draft that he probably should have done. I just hope for the Saints that he gets back fit and healthy, because they're just a completely different team without him. Listen, they're still in a very good position, although we'll speak later. Two of their rivals did bring a game back up on them. So as good as they've been, they're not even guaranteed a playoff place yet, which is just goes to show how good the NFC is. And same for the Rams, they're not guaranteed anything at the moment, although they are division leaders. Moving on to the second game, then, one that kind of broke my heart a little bit. It was the Green Bay Packers 28, the Steelers 31. We spoke last week and I thought this was going to be an absolute bloodbath. And in truth, it wasn't. It was a very, very, close contested game. It's a last-second field goal that wins the win for the Steelers. Just before I go off on one, what was your original thought just watching that game?
Antonio Brown's the best. Antonio Brown would be the second best wide receiver to ever exist. He's that good. I think I got annoyed when you've done those videos where you're talking about the best wide receivers with the English fans and wanted to pick Antonio Brown. When I was editing that, I was getting annoyed going, who picks Odell over Antonio Brown? He's clearly the best. He's not maybe explosive as Odell.
I think we had him at number 2 though in our top 10s.
I had him number 1.
I think we might have had some Julio Jones recency bias, but I think you're right.
Did you? Yeah. Well, and then Julio Jones is more of a physical freak.
Yeah.
But just no one can cover Antonio Brown. That catch he made on the sidelines, it just felt like this was Antonio Brown versus the Green Bay Packers, and Antonio Brown won. He's that good.
He gets open without moving. A little stutter step, and he's got Devon House, running rings, and that catch at the end when I thought he was out of bounds, and the replay shows he clearly drags his foot. He is absolutely incredible. Like I've never seen. He's the best I've seen. I think this is as good as I've seen a wide receiver play since 07 Randy Moss, and it's different because 07 Randy Moss was more the speed and the physicality. Oh, Antonio Brown's like a big guy, he's only
about an inch bigger than me. That's the mad thing.
He's a little fella. He's not little, but he's average size fella. But he's lightning and fast, and he's got the nuances of the game down to a T. He's always open, even in the red zone when they got him twice, and he was just wide open both times. It was ridiculous. To be fair to Green Bay, I thought they handled the run game quite well. Lev Bell did get 95 yards, but just 20 carries.
It wasn't
like a sustainable run game where they got ran all over, and they limited the big play, which I was really worried about going into the game. I thought that they're going to just find Brown or Bryant or whoever just on massive flows, and there was no real bit. Like I say, I'm just looking at the stat sheet here. Brown's longest reception was that 39-yard catch we spoke about. But other than that, you're looking at 10s and 14s and 11s, 1s. There was no 50, 60-yard play that I was really worried about, and that's probably how that, along with forcing turnovers, was how the Green Bay defense probably stayed in the game.
Yeah, I think the Green Bay Packers actually played pretty well. I mean, the defense, you create turnovers, you should really win the game. Was it 3 turnovers to have in the end? That should be enough to win the game.
Yeah, 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery.
Yeah, that should be enough really to win the game. And especially when your quarterback then throws 3 touchdowns to Weber Slayton, Brett Hundley. This was by far the best game he's ever played in his life. Like, you can go back to playing high school, I still don't think he's ever played better than this. This was a real game where at least there's something there that you might sit there and go, he might become a viable backup. He might not just be absolute garbage like he's been.
I thought he played pretty well. I thought some of the throws that he got were pretty easy-ish throws. I thought they were players who were open. I don't know, and I still think he held the ball far too long. Yeah. He took too many sacks that he didn't take. I thought it was odd that Mike McCarthy goes for a 57-yard field goal in Pittsburgh. I thought that was a really odd decision at the time. I thought he really should have punted that ball away. I don't think has anyone ever made the 57-yard. I mean, Heinz Field's notorious for being a difficult place to kick, and I thought that was an odd decision. But it's one of those for the Packers. I expected to win. It was nice to see them, at least put a fight up. In the end, the better team won with the better player. Antonio Brown was just completely out of this world in that game. I don't think Ben played particularly well. He had 4 touchdowns and 300 yards. He does throw a couple of picks. He misses a few throws. He didn't look particularly brilliant, but he had Bell as well, and Bell in the passing game was effective. And him and Brown, they were just too good in the end. And a Packers team depleted just didn't.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he hung around as long as he did, and it was. Like I say, it was the turnover related that kept it close.
Yeah, it's one of them. Superstars ends up winning games. You can't coach past just better players take over games, and that's what we found in the end. That Antonio Brown, when you needed that play to win a game, that's what he did.
What I would say on a positive note for the Packers is I think Davante Adams is becoming a 1. I think he is. I think he's already Green Bay's number 1 receiver now. I think he's usurped Jordy Nelson, but I think he's getting to that level where he could be a number 1 for a lot of teams. There was a lot of doubt about Adams a couple of seasons ago because he literally dropped everything. He just kept dropping the ball. He was open all the time. He kept dropping it. It drove me crazy. But I think now we're starting to see him develop into hopefully a number 1 receiver, because it looks like we're on the end of the Jordy Nelson roller coaster. And I think hopefully Adams is the one who steps up.
Also, the other positive as well is Jamal Williams actually running the ball well. Now, I remember watching Jamal Williams in the preseason and thinking he was going to be a player. I took him in a couple of fantasy teams, like with late picks, thinking he's going to become their run back. And we haven't seen nothing, but we did actually see something from him today.
Yeah,
did look like he could be a true.
What happened was Ty was the running back, Ty Montgomery, and then he got injured, and Williams came in and got injured straight away. And then he gave it to Aaron Jones, and Aaron Jones looked good, so he kind of usurped him. I agree, Williams looks like a decent enough running back.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's fine, but again, Packers lose, get us a high draft pick, we'll be fine. Let's talk about a game that I didn't think we'd talk about coming into this game, into this show, because I didn't know it would mean that much, but it's Denver 14, Oakland 21, and I just want to talk about the fight. If I'm honest, I just want within a couple of minutes of the game, for those who don't know, Michael Crabtree and Aqib Talib just had a proper fight. Well, they were throwing punches at each other, they were wrestling on the floor, they were chasing after each other. Talib snapped Crabtree's chain for the second straight year. I thought it was brilliant. I mean, obviously it's not great when you support all those teams and you lose your players, but it was mad watching it, because I was watching it live and like, a little scuffle, we always get them, and then it's like, oh no, this is a prop. These two guys are wanting to kill each other. Yeah,
this is what we've seen with. So last year when Talib ripped off his chain, that was kind of a sign that I own you. It was like you're in my back pocket, kind of like you and Patrick Peterson
on Twitter.
And it was like so clearly Crabtree went out, he's taped up his chain, but he's like, I'm not weird. I'm not letting someone think he's owns me, so he's got taped it off. So Talib ripped it off again, so he went, nah mate, just smacked him a few times. And why punch people with helmets on?
Yeah,
it's only going to hurt your hand.
Yeah,
and that's why, like, when you say it's a proper fight, I love these kind of fights, because it's people stepping back and swinging from like back here somewhere and throwing these mad swinging.
You don't want to catch them, you don't want to punch it.
It's like you're not really trying to punch, you're just not trying to look like you're not backing down there, aren't you? That was the
ref got it, didn't he? One of the refs goes down and people so Talib and Crabtree have both been suspended for 2 games now, and that we'll talk about that on the next show, on the preview show for the Raiders. That could be big for the Raiders, because in this game they lost Cooper as well to a concussion, and also an injury. He's a doubt for next week, and in fairness to them, the passing game carried on going pretty well. I thought, is it Holton? He looked like a genuine deep threat for them, if nothing else. They got a bit of Cordell Patterson action, which we hadn't seen for a while. He used to have out, but I was surprised that without their 2 top receivers and a passing game that hasn't functioned quite well anyway, they still got enough in the air to get the win ultimately. Yeah,
I think they ran the ball well as well with Lynch. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing, you're looking at stats here. I mean, how much did they run for?
26 for 67.
Yeah, it's not an explosive, but it's just they ran the ball steadily, and then there was some good passes in there. I mean, Cooper, before he went down injured, was actually playing very well. He did, was beating his cornerbacks with ease, which was unusual with Cooper. We haven't seen that for a while this season, and he was actually catching the ball, which again has not been Cooper this season. But that's what we saw. So we saw a decent enough Raiders team, and then we're looking at them now, and they're 5-6, the 1 game behind in the AFC West. They're back in the mix.
Yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it? I thought Lynch was good in the passing game as well. Actually, I thought that's where he looked good. He caught the ball well. He ran well. He looked violent, didn't he? There was the one where about 10 lads piled on him and the ref blows the whistle and he's fuming because he didn't think he'd been stopped, and it just looked a bit like old Marshall Lynch. And like I say, if you can get that going. We mentioned very quickly before we move on, I want to stick on this side, it was noticeable that it was Langley, the cornerback for the Broncos, was in one of the backups, and he's the one who got Cooper beat on the touchdown. They literally bullied him. It was one of those signs where the second you put a younger player in or a backup in, quarterbacks as good as Derek Carr are just going to target him all day.
It's like Derek Carr went, just throw it at him. Just go ahead, throw it at him. He's garbage.
That's pretty much what it was. Yeah,
So do we want to move on to what the Broncos are now, their quarterback?
Yeah, I was going to say, before he went out injured, what did you make of Paxton Lynch?
He was terrible. He's absolutely awful.
Yeah.
Like, basically, all I seen him do was he get the ball and then tuck it and try and run somewhere. Yeah. That's what the pocket's for, mate. You don't need to tuck it and run. You need to look for your receiver, look for your open. He was throwing it from the same angles that Crabtree was throwing punches from, which again, that's not. Don't drop the ball that back, especially when you're that tall. I thought he was terrible. I expected him to be terrible because everything we've heard from the Denver camp is this guy's terrible and it was a mistake to pick him. I think it's what we found with quarterbacks is that sometimes they get overhyped in the draft because teams are so desperate for quarterbacks and they just take anyone, and that's what we found with Paxton Lynch.
I always found in college with Paxton Lynch he had the raw tools, and I thought he was a developmental project, but he just looks like he hasn't developed at all. And I agree. I find it really odd for a guy that tall. He holds the ball quite low. Yeah. In terms of it's right in the zone to get strip sacked because he's kind of like over here, and it's just like he's behind himself. If he just held up here, no one would be able to reach him. He's like 6'7", is he? I thought it was odd. And I want to talk about Trevor Siemian actually because I thought he played well, but there was just no run game at all. He just could not get anything going. Anderson 5 for 12, Booker 6 for 11, Jamal Charles 1 for 3. There was just nothing there. There was no holes, there was no juice. And ultimately, when you've got a limited quarterback situation and your offensive line's bad, this is kind of what you get. Teams are willing to stop the run.
You can just. I mean, this is the way we've been talking about the Raiders being one of the worst defenses in the league. And what you've found is that they can't exploit it because the quarterbacks aren't good enough. Like when we're doing those shows pre-season, just giving you updates on the news, and every news was just Trevor Siemian's going to start, Paxton Lynch is going to bench. Everyone knew from the start of this season that Trevor Siemian was clearly their best quarterback. Now when it wasn't going well and they dropped him, all you're seeing is that's how bad their quarterback room is, that Trevor Siemian was their best quarterback and everyone else is terrible.
I thought he played well when he come in.
And then, he come in and it's in the fourth quarter, it's garbage time. I don't think he's a bad quarterback, I just think he's a career backup. Yeah. And I think Dave went into a season with a career backup and it's almost wasting what had the potential to be a good defence, is now just getting blown up everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. Siemian, I say 11 for 21, 149, 2 very good touchdowns. I thought both touchdown throws were pretty good throws, if nothing else. I mean, but like you say, he's a low-end starter, and it's weird that the Broncos have had a sneaky bad drafting. Last couple of years drafted, and this is what happens. You have no depth, you have no backup. So although your defense is good, your backups to them aren't that good. I think that's coming home to roost now, and that John Elway will always be loved in Denver, and he brought the Super Bowl. He got Peyton Manning, which ultimately won them a Super Bowl. But I think a lot can be, you can say a lot about his drafting of, basically Paxton Lynch look like he's going to be a bust. They've got nothing else going on really. They look like one of the most disappointing teams. For them to be 3-8, that's not what you want that's not what you expect from a Denver team.
I thought they'd be an 8-8 team somewhere around there, and they're just the worst than what I thought they were. And I think we've seen that. I mean, didn't they win the first 3 games? Am I right in thinking that? And they've just lost the last 8.
They've been good, yeah.
Yeah, that's just, it's so bad in Denver, which I'm not sad about. I hate Denver.
But yeah, fair enough. That's the view from New England. Speaking of which, then we've included this in the top 4 mainly because Jenno watched every single snap of it. Miami 17, New England 35. I don't think we always joke about the Patriots. There's another game, another win, blah blah blah. But I actually watched this game as well, and I just thought we needed to talk about Tom Brady might be having the best quarterback season I've ever seen. Yeah. I think he's playing like I've never seen anything like it's as good as Rodgers in a couple of years ago when he won the MVP a couple of times. And if Brady doesn't win the MVP this year, it's like it's clearly a narrative-based thing because Carson Wentz or whoever, I don't care, Jared Goff, whoever, it's got to be Brady. He is just playing at another level. He was absolutely unbelievable. Although he has an interception, if he throw, but he was absolutely outstanding.
it was one bad throw for like a season. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, he picked them apart. He was getting hit all the time. Jordan's a great one. Should have wrote this stat down. Is look at Brady's stats when he's under pressure. They're incredible compared to everyone else. Because he just... So many quarterbacks you're watching and they tuck it and run when there's pressure. And you see what Brady does, he just goes, I think I'm just going to sidestep here. He lets his tackles push your defensive ends away from him by just stepping right or left or up. Whereas you see too many people in the league just like tuck the ball up and then try and run one way or the other, and that's why they get tackled and that's why they give up sacks. His pocket presence is probably the best we've seen, because he's the most immobile quarterback who's mobile, which makes no sense.
He's mobile over a 2-yard radius. Yeah. He's very much like a...
He's the king on chess. He's just
he's very much a one step forward, one step to the side guy, and it's unbelievable how much space he finds.
He must be excellent at the cha-cha slide.
He'd be a great square dancer, because he can go one step forward and back. But before I talk about the receivers, I want to talk about Dion Lewis. I thought he looked, 15 rushes, 112 yards. He's just another plug-and-play running back. You've got like 17 of these lads who just come in, but it looks like coming down the stretch, Lewis is the main man now, and I thought he was outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, he's not the exciting fun Lewis of 2015 who was just making people miss by just stopping on and then just going again. He just runs between the tackles really well. Yeah. He's getting a bit of an explosiveness back. He's not as explosive, but he finds a hole and he just goes through it. He's only a little fella, so he only needs a little hole, and then he just shoots through it. And I think New England's offensive line is a better run blocking offensive line than it is pass block. Yeah, and that's why in this game we saw Brady get hit a lot, like a real lot, a worrying amount. But Dion Lewis in this is just amazing, the best running back. I mean, Gilsey's now is a healthy scratch. He can't even make the team anymore.
Yeah, Bearhead looked good as well, didn't he? Yeah. Especially in the passing game, I thought Bearhead was well. We're going to move on to Miami in a minute on the defense, especially. I thought he's done all right, considering they give 35 points up. Cooks and Gronk were almost unstoppable at times. I thought Gronk in particular, he looks like the slowest person I've ever seen, but he's just catches everything. It's mad, like, he's not the explosive Gronk he used to be. He's not running away from anybody, he's not great, but he's just too big and too strong. And in the end, it was like giants against boys. It was just unstoppable.
He just beasted past everyone. He just went full Gronk and just was smashing people. I mean,
but he has lost a couple. He does look slow.
Yeah, he's definitely lost a yard of speed, because he probably was one of the fastest tight ends, which people didn't give him credit. But multiple back issues and knee issues, that speed's not there. But it doesn't matter when you can literally just jump up and beat anyone. You see him get called a lot more now, I've noticed, for pass interference.
Trying to get himself open.
Because he's trying to get himself open, because he can't. He's just not quite as explosive, but it doesn't matter. He's that good, it doesn't matter.
And Cooks, look at the end.
Cooks is probably the best off-season wide receiver pick-up. I mean, that's where our first-round pick went. We sent it for Cooks. This is why. We wanted him. We knew what he could do. I think he loves playing with Brady, because what Brady does as well, you'll run deep with Brady, but then he'll throw it so that you're catching it low, so you don't have to take a massive hit running deep. You know what I mean? You catch it and you're protected and you just get touched on the floor. I think that's why wide receivers love Brady, because he keeps you out of trouble.
Relatively safe, it doesn't put you in the middle. Miami defense, you mentioned before, they did hit Brady an awful lot. Would you think that was more... I mean, they've got a good front four, even a pretty decent front seven, and obviously the Patriots lines had issues, but they were constantly in his face all day. How many hits? 7 hits. It was ridiculous.
I think it was 8 hits in the end.
Yeah.
And I think also this was partly because they were just hitting them regardless of whether... There's a few of them where you were like, surely that's late. Surely, but fair play. I'm not going to hit them as much as you want. It's not illegal until they say it is.
Yeah.
But I think Miami played better, but then you saw with Matt Moore why they wouldn't turn to Matt Moore, why they turned to Jay Cutler instead of Matt Moore, because some of his picks in this game were absolutely awful. I mean, Harmon and Gilmore fought over who got a pick and were rolling on the floor trying to decide who gets the pick, because it was that bad of a throw and 2 Patriots players picking off. Gilmore picked off another one. It was just, he's not good enough. They got nothing from the run game. They're bad. The reason why I want to talk about this game now is not really because of the Dolphins, or even more about the Patriots in the AFC picture of what they're going to be against the Steelers, because what we saw in this game, we saw some flaws. We saw that the defense still isn't great, and when you look against when they're playing the Steelers in the AFC Championship game, that's something they can exploit. And then the offensive line's not great, so it's more about what the Steelers should be watching on the Patriots than what the Patriots are seeing themselves. Patriots are playing, I think, the 5 last 6 games of the AFC, so it's going to be a walkthrough.
Yeah, they're going to be right up there for sure. Even like someone like a Jacksonville could look at this game and think, if Miami can hit him that much, we can certainly get after him with our pass rush. I agree. It was slightly concerning. There was 1 or 2 that I thought, that at least one where I thought, I can't believe he hasn't flagged him there. But you know, he is Superman, but he is still 40, and I would be really concerned. And Belichick spoke afterwards. He had no intent. He said he had no intention of benching him, and you know he was arsy about
I know that laugh was good.
He asked, "Did you consider bench? You know, for the kneel downs?" No, but I thought it was a legitimate question for like a 40-year-old fella getting his arse handed to him.
Yeah,
I would be worried that again. There's no sign of Tom Brady looking anything like a 40-year-old man. You know, he moves better than me, and I'm like 12 years a junior.
He moves better than me.
But I thought that was the only worry where if you get against a legitimate pass rush, that could be a concern. But then again, you know.
But see, the problem is that a legitimate pass rush, we saw it was a concern. We saw it against the Chargers. It was a concern. They were getting to Brady a lot. So, and the Chargers, like we were speaking about them briefly later.
They could be in the mix as well.
Yeah,
they could be.
Yeah, they could be, and you know, remember when we packed in on our picks, and now it's looking like the Chargers probably going the FC West.
I'm sticking with my Chargers. I went off and I'll go back onto it again, but that was the only thing. But I say the Patriots are rolling. They're going to have at least a 2 seed, and we'll see where it goes. But that was the slight knock. Everything else was pretty much fine. Matt Moore was craft. There was no, you know, I think it was Jarvis Landry got a few catches, but there was nothing like that particularly worried you, like in terms of the secondary. I just thought a little bit of concern of seeing Tom Brady on the floor 8 times, and we'll move on from there. Right then, let's spin around the league as we've been doing every week, and there's a lot to get to, so we won't go too much in detail on these. Atlanta 34, Tampa 20, Atlanta 34. Who knew Julio Jones is fucking brilliant?
Yeah, imagine all those weeks we've just said, just throw it to Julio. So just take it out of Matt Ryan's hands and let Sanu throw it to Julio.
Yeah, we said throw it to Julio. Even if your wide receiver throws it to Julio, it's going to 250 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was unstoppable in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Although what I would say is Atlanta nearly bottled it.
Yeah.
It was 20-27 and Tampa Bay had the ball driving, and I was thought this could be the most Atlanta thing ever, but ultimately they saw that one out. Cleveland 16, Cincinnati 30. The Bengals are wheeling them way back into this ridiculously shit AFC wildcard race, and the Browns are terrible.
The Browns are awful. Joe Mixon showed up. Joe Mixon did something, which, you know,
the Joe Mixon run game
was a surprise. I mean, some of us tried to listen to you and draft him fancy, and he was just garbage until that.
I've still got him.
Have you?
Oh, yeah.
I have as well, but my team's dead.
What I would say is his line's crap. He showed that if you give him a bit of protection, he's a really good running back, and he's really good in the passing game. He's just the line is just which you should, in fairness, take into account in fantasy. His line's atrocious. Tennessee 20, Indianapolis 16. Are Tennessee the worst good team?
Yes, and again, of all the teams who have the spread up, like use the spread option in their offense, the one team that doesn't is the one team who's probably got the best guy most suited to it. Yeah. And instead they try and do smash mouth with an injured DeMarco Murray and a Derrick Henry who's only mediocre. I still hope whether they make the playoffs or not, they fire everyone and bring in a good offensive coordinator or elite offensive-minded coach to really get the best out of this Titans team.
Yeah, for sure. They look very much lost. I see. And I've never seen a quarterback get hit as much as Jacoby Brissett. That lad is, I'm talking Tom Brady, and hit that lad is on the floor all of the time, whoever they're playing. Some
of them's on him, because he likes to run around a bit and do crazy stuff. But yeah, the line's horrendous. The Colts just found ways to blow 4-quarter leads.
Yeah, they keep doing it. Just before Andrew Luck comes back, just find somebody to stop people running at the face because he's going to die. It's really bad. Chicago 3, Philadelphia 31. Don't need to go into this too much. The Eagles just absolutely, from ball 1, kick off to the end, and there was just nothing Chicago. They had like 6-yard run in. They had. We spoke so much, Jenno, about the offense, and rightly so, 31 points. But Philadelphia's defense is absolutely for real, especially that front seven.
It is, and it's also what I've been told about this with Mitch Trubisky. You know, just show me something. Show me something in the game. I thought he was awful in this game, and I thought this is why they probably should. I would have sat him for the whole year and let Matt Glennon get destroyed like this.
His name's Mike.
Is it Mike? Oh yeah, it is Mike as well.
It's fine.
Yeah. Who cares?
Who cares? Yeah. Who cares?
His name's Giraffe. I mean,
and the Eagles keep on rolling right towards that 1 seed.
I mean, when you're fumbling it and then picking up the fumble up in the end zone for a touchdown, I mean, everything's going right for you, Eagles.
J.J. fancy owners got robbed. Or people like J.J. the offensive player of the year.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that was a bad pick. Seattle 24, San Francisco 30. Not much to write home about here. Jimmy Graham's catching touchdowns again, which has been happening a while now. It's a big weapon. Seattle, don't look amazing, but they're doing enough to win, and Russell Wilson's just a stud again.
Yeah, Russell Wilson is, I mean, we love him on this show, we absolutely adore him. Adore him on the field. Off the field, he's a robot.
He's very boring.
I hate him. But
as for we saw Jimmy Garoppolo, and it's amazing when you put a good quarterback. He looks like everything everyone said he was. Albeit, who's he got around and blah blah blah. And he was only in for a little tiny bit, but he just looked like a proper.
He throws it very quickly. He gets out the way of the rush. He feels the rush. He's athletic. He's why. You look at the Browns and you go, why didn't you just give a first round pick to take him? It looks like New England would have accepted that. In fact, throw a second round pick. You'd have a high second round pick, and you wouldn't be having to watch Deshaun Kaiser and Hogan and.
I thought he looked really good. It was only a small sample size, but I thought it was promising.
And I think he's going to play next week.
I would hope so, because I've had enough of CJ Beathard. He's another lad who likes getting sacked a lot.
Yeah.
He's a big fan. One of the upsets, perhaps, although I'm not sure you can call Kansas City losing an upset anymore. Tyrod Taylor back in the fall, 16-10 over the Chiefs. Before we'll speak about the Chiefs briefly in a minute, but I thought Taylor again. A typical Tyrod Taylor game. He misses throws, he runs around, he takes sacks, he gets hit. He doesn't give the ball away, and that's the thing. If you've got a decent team and you don't give the ball, no interceptions, no stupid throws, you give your team a chance to win.
Yeah, you're not going to win many games by scoring 16 points. Let's not start raving Tyrod Taylor is this amazing quarterback, because he's not. But you basically, when you watch him play, you can see why the Bills want to move on from him. And then you see Peterman was like, well, it doesn't make any sense to try and move on for a quarterback while you're in the middle of a playoff hunt, which is exactly when you flip it over to the Kansas City Chiefs and people talk about getting Mahomes in. You don't change your quarterback while you're still in the playoff hunt, because it's just going to go backfire, especially when you've looked at the other quarterbacks like Trubisky coming in and clearly Lynch coming in and clearly not looking ready.
Yeah, for sure. I thought the Chiefs now have gone from 5-0 to 6-5, and their offense is just dead on arrival. They've lost every bit of downfield element they had. Yeah. Everything is now side. It's the old Alex Smith, Andy Reid offense of dump-offs and sideways. And it was that at the beginning of the season, but they had the downfield threat at the beginning of the season. Now they've got zero downfield threat.
Everyone's just playing cover 2 against them, and they can't do nothing. They can't do nothing to stop it. And they need one of the wide receivers to step up, and that's not happening for them.
Get themselves open. I agree. They're too easy to play against. Arizona 27 at home against the Jacksonville Jaguars 24, and
Tyrod Gabbett revenge game.
He's crap as well, but he was
the best quarterback by far.
He was the best quarterback on the field, and again, we speak every single week, and Blake Bortles gets more stick than anyone on the show, and deservedly so, because he's ruining a legitimate Super Bowl team. Tyrod Taylor would make these a genuine Super Bowl team, because the Jags just don't give the. If you don't give the ball away, you're going to be absolutely fine, because your defense is fucking really good.
Yeah.
But again, they were just stung by the quarterback. He could go for a field goal, tie the game, potentially win the game on the last drive, and he just throws an absolute stinker pick, and that's where we are.
He's just awful. He's so bad. I mean, he's only good when he's running. He's actually only good when he's running with the ball. He's a terrible quarterback. And speaking
of running, they couldn't get Fournette going, to be fair to the Cardinals. Chandler Jones was absolutely outstanding in this game.
I miss Chandler Jones.
Yeah, he was all over, he was stopping the run, he was all over balls, and the Cardinals are kind of they've got a pulse.
Back in.
They've got a pulse, but I mean it's tough.
It's like the kicking the Cardinals fans in the face, because it's like, you just believe you might do something, and the next week they're going to get like.
But to be fair, I thought he played pretty well. Like I say,
do you know what I can't understand though? How is Drew Stanton saw as a better option than Blaine Gabbert?
Yeah, I've got no idea.
Gabbert,
I think Gabbert could be a start, a really, really bad starter.
I think that's what we've seen. He's a really, really bad starter.
But he could be a starter.
Yeah, he's like the 32nd best quarterback there is in the world. That's where he is.
He's better than Drew Stanton.
Yeah. Drew Stanton's not in the top 70.
He's next to me and you. Carolina 35, the Jets 27. I thought, I don't know, first of all, they let Cam run.
Yeah.
And that was the difference in this game. And the Jets just... They honestly, they have the fumble recovery. I'm having this one. I said Luke Kuechly touchdown. I said it last week on the show. I said he's going to score. And he scores. And then he scores, kick off, 3 and out, punt return, game over. And the Panthers get away one, because I thought the Jets outplayed them, to be honest, especially on offense. I thought Robbie Anderson, who you've been going on about, is like he's a top player. He looks like a really legitimate player. And Carolina sneaked this one because they were probably the worst team.
Yeah, Jets, it's been someone point this out, Josh McCann's been terrible in the fourth quarter. That's what's going to happen. Jets have been good for 3 quarters in a lot of games, then fourth quarter, Josh McCann's just went abysmal. Maybe that's his age, maybe that's because he makes mental decisions.
Yeah.
I don't know, but this was like the biggest Jetsiest loss ever because they should have won this game. They look like they're going to win this game, and then he had a touchdown taken off ASJ, and that's like his 80th touchdown record this season. It feels that way.
I thought that was a good call. He does actually. I thought he was fumbling. When I saw it, I thought he's fumbling it. It's weird because he never drops it. It's the rule's mad, isn't it? 'Cause he never drops the ball. The ball's always in his grasp. Yeah. But when he's hitting the floor, it's kind of moving in his arms, and therefore they class that as out of bounds, which. It's the rule. I thought it's a bad rule, but it's the rule. That's what the rule says.
Well, it was the same rule that cost him against the Patriots. It's
at
least it's a consistent rule.
He could do a catching the ball and holding it tight. That's advice to him.
Catch the ball and spin around on your back. Yeah. I know it's a hard thing to do, but that way you'd have that time to really.
Because he is like it was. I like say Carolina sneak on, and I thought the difference was Cam was atrocious passing. He was absolutely horrendous passing. He just overshot that. He was awful, but he ran. And he ran too well. He's just too big, too strong, and that's what.
And McCaffrey ran as well, quite well as well. I mean, it's just and
Jamal Adams started to interrupt the Superman celebration as well. Fair play, but Cam still did the Superman Super League celebration. And that showed you how big he was, by the way. When the Jets lad comes up to him, and Cam was like, he's like a defensive lineman.
He's genuinely bigger than everybody on the pitch except defensive tackles, and that's what people don't realise. He's bigger than everyone. That's why he's such a freak. That's why when we're talking about quarterbacks being able to run, and I'm like, no, don't do that. With Cam, I'm like, yeah, let him run. He's bigger than everyone else.
Yeah, he's going to win most of those head-on collisions. Monday Night Football, Houston 16, Baltimore 23. Oh my goodness, I watched this morning. This was a bad football game. Joe Flacco, I do not... For a man with the biggest arm in the world, is a check-down machine. Danny Woodhead, there you go. Alec Collins, there you go. Mate, Buck Allen, you have it. There's just no threat at all. But defensively, they're sound, and ultimately, they get the plays that win the game. Yeah. The defense is very much carrying this team, possibly towards the playoffs. Yeah. I don't want to see the Ravens in the playoffs.
I don't, but that's because I predicted that. I said that I felt the Ravens defense was going to be great, and then a few weeks in, I was like, oh, this looks like a terrible idea. But now it's like rounds into shape, and it's just a really good defense. I think that's probably going to be good enough to get you through the AFC wildcard and then get blown out by someone.
We might see Jags Ravens in the playoffs. We might see there's a chance that we see Bortles, Flacco, and I don't get the Flacco stuff now. He's for me, he's done. I think he's done.
I generally
the back injuries killed him.
Back injuries on a big fella have killed all his athleticism. He no longer looks to throw any deep passes. I mean,
and he can't get off the pocket to let his receivers get open to throw the deep ball.
Yeah,
he can't do it. He's a statue and he's dumping it off to. I mean, if you're in PPR leagues, just get Danny Woodhead if you can, because he's just catching a little dump off.
As much as I like the way Collins runs, I don't think he's anything special. And
he's fast, but he's not. Yeah, he's not breaking much.
Yeah, and it's again, clearly Flacco's been crying out for him to replace Ray Rice, and they haven't even seemed to have attempted to do it, and it still baffles me.
Yeah, for sure. And like I say, fair play to them, they won, and Houston were pretty bad as well. The Ravens defense, though, I think we should give that credit, because that is again. It's I think statistically it's the best defense, or one of the best defenses in the league, and Terrell Suggs, I think another 1.5 sack game. He's listen, like I say, if they're going to go to the playoffs, which I think they probably will do, it's going to be based on the back of that defense.
Yeah, I think that defense has got, I think, a decent anything in the AFC. If you've just got one side wall that's good, it's going to probably get you into the playoffs.
Yeah, it is really, really bad.
It's going to be really depressing, that wild card weekend.
I know it was a while ago now, and again, I hope if you're in America, you had a happy Thanksgiving. If you're in England or wherever, I hope you had a decent Thursday.
I had a decent graduation.
Yeah, there you go. Do you even remember any of these games even existed, Jenno?
I found myself in Woody's watching the Chargers game.
That says a lot.
It says a lot about me being in Woody's, which was not my idea, and I just decided to start watching the game rather than listening to people doing terrible karaoke.
It's a great plan to have. I thought Vikings 30, Detroit 23. I thought the scoreline flattered Detroit, to be honest. I thought the Vikings were much better, and Detroit almost their Detroitness of coming back, but the Vikings they just rolled again.
I'm just angry at this game because remember a few weeks ago when you forgot to do your pick'em and it killed you? Well, so on that weekend, I picked every game from then to the end of the season, so that couldn't happen to me. So then we done our show about what we picked, and I picked the Vikings. but I hadn't gone and changed it. Yeah. So I lost another pick on Chris.
We're going to speak up pick on later. I actually had a good week. And the only game, I forgot to pick the Chargers. I just forgot to press it. And I did pick the Chargers. I didn't get the point. I must have forgot to press the button. But I thought that the Vikings, Case Keenum looked really good. Yeah. It's mad.
Yeah, he does. He looks. Case Keenum's like, I don't know, the best quarterback. I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore.
He's the best quarterback. Maybe the best quarterback in the world.
Yeah.
Again, Matt Stafford looked good. He got injured in this play, and I thought it was going to be game over for him. That was the tank. Yeah. He got back up thankfully, but again, no running game. It was just so hard for them. Speaking of running game, the Cowboys 6 at home on Thanksgiving got battered by the Chargers 28-6, and we said we worry that with no running game and no explosiveness, Dallas are going to get found out, and Dallas have been found out.
Yeah, I think, we saw. I don't want to say Dak Prescott's a bad quarterback. Dak Prescott's a good quarterback, and I'd take him if I was any team building a franchise. But what you see is when he had the best offensive line last season, the best running back, and then a decent core of wide receivers. Not everyone gets to put it in that great situation. Now that his situation's nowhere not good, he's looking human again. I mean, he played awful in this game, I thought. He was absolute garbage. But this is what happens when you don't have all the other players to save you. You get seen for what you are, and I think the Chargers are really coming up that AFC. I think they're probably going to win their division now. I think everyone should fear them in the playoffs.
Speaking of Phil Rivers, one of the best games I've seen for quite a while. I love Phil Rivers. I think he's fist bumping.
Imagine his Thanksgiving dinner with his 30 kids.
That's why he was happy to have to play the game. He had to spend time with his massive family. But yeah, the Chargers, pass rush looks good, quarterback looks good. Keenan Allen is, speaking of always open, that guy is always open.
Just makes you miss after as well.
Yeah, they're looking like a really, they look like the team, because if they get to the playoffs, they're going to have to have won. They're going to have gone on a run. They remind me of the Packers when they won the Super Bowl, where they were slow, and then they just went on this like 5 or 6 game winning run, get to the playoffs absolutely hot. And if the Chargers are going to get to the playoffs, they're going to have had to be on that run, and they could be really, really dangerous.
As I say, as a Patriots fan, I said this before the season, and I still feel it now, they scare me out of everyone else in the AFC, because in the AFC, good quarterback, good wide receivers can run the ball, and the pass rush.
Yeah, for sure, they look really good. And then the Giants played and Washington played, and that was a thing.
Washington won, Giants terrible.
Yeah, that's enough of that.
Yeah, what else do you want to say?
Yeah, the Giants just need to give up. I'm bored. Yeah, so that's pretty much our Week 12 review. Like I say, we touched on every single game as best as we could. Keep an eye on the channel for this week. We're going to be previewing Week 13. We are that close. And then, I think we might need to get to a stage soon where we need to start putting some teams in the bin and just forgetting. We're not going to talk about them because there's going to be some absolute crap matchups, but there's some absolute really, really good ones as well.
And with the Browns in,
unless they're playing a playoff team, I just start. Just whatever.
Even if they are.
Yeah, forget it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Hope you've enjoyed the show. If you have, please give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't, please give it a big thumbs up. Because it's the same, it is what it is. It helps in rankings, and Chris knows all this stuff about analytics and stuff. I don't, but apparently that works. And like I say, please subscribe to the show. And if you're not following us on Twitter, @Cover2TV, please go and follow us there as well. Keep an eye on the channel for this week. We'll be back previewing all the games of Week 13. Until then, see you later. Ta-ra.